Ever loved a movie so much you couldn't wait to own it? You tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, just anyone who would listen. Once it's released, you rush over to possess it, excited to relive the experience. But in the end, it only sits and collects dust. This time, I'll be unwrapping them.
What's up, everybody? It's that time again. We're going to be doing another Unwrapped review. This time we'll be doing BlackKklansman, which is a movie I have seen probably, I think this is like my third time seeing it. I was debating whether I wanted this to be like my second movie to unwrap and actually watch, because I did see it this summer while I was vacationing in Kansas and visiting family. The award-winning screenwriter was there in attendance, and they did a special screening of BlackKklansman at, I think it was the Jayhawk Theater downtown. So we went to go see that there, and he did like a Q&A afterward, and I did ask questions and stuff. And I learned a lot of stuff from him as someone who wants to go in the film industry. And I got to meet him, take a picture with him, and talk to him and stuff, and I entered a raffle, and I thought I would like be getting a phone call from that, but I had never heard anything. So who knows? Well, anyway, I decided, well, you know what? Let's watch it anyway, even though it's really too soon for me to be rewatching it, because I actually just recently finished reading the book that it is based on. It is the same title, the BlackKklansman, without the extra K in the middle as it's stylized in the movie. Written by Ron Stallworth, who is the main character in the movie, and the writer was talking about how he took elements in the book and tried to make it, you know, script movie friendly. So there are parts in the movie that are fictionalized, and there are parts in there that actually did happen in the book. And there was a certain scene, one of my favorite scenes in the movie, that made me want to read the book because I was curious if that actually happened. And I'll definitely mention it later in the review. So not only is this going to be an unwrapped movie review, it is also going to be a comparison between the book and the movie. So let's jump into what BlackKklansman is about. From visionary filmmaker Spike Lee comes the incredible true story of an American hero. In the early 1970s, Ron Stallworth, played by John David Washington, becomes the first African-American detective in the Colorado Springs Police Department. Determined to make a difference, he bravely sets out on a dangerous mission: infiltrate and expose the Ku Klux Klan. He recruits a seasoned colleague, Flip Zimmerman, played by Adam Driver, into the undercover investigation. Together, they team up to take down the extremist organization aiming to garner mainstream appeal. Produced by the team behind the Academy Award-winning Get Out, BlackKklansman offers an unflinching true-life examination of race relations in 1970s America that is just as relevant in today's tumultuous world. So one thing that I'll have to say, I did not know that Adam Driver, well, when I saw Adam Driver was part of the movie, I kind of worried that all I would see is Kylo Ren from Star Wars, but, and I didn't know whether I would like him or not as an actor, but he was like a really good actor. Like, his like talent really does show in this movie, and he worked really well with John David Washington, who is Denzel's son, if you could not tell by his voice. Like, he really sounds like his dad. Just focusing on just the movie, because I've seen it 3 times, obviously, I really like this movie. It's really good. It made me really think. I remember when I went to go see it in the theaters for the first time, because it was a limited release when I saw it. Most of the people that I was with, like, that was in attendance in the theater, were old white people. And I find this like a common like thing that happens when you go to social commentary type movies that have to do with the black cause. You tend to get a lot of like old white people that go and see it. So if you go see, I guess, the upcoming Harriet Tubman movie, or whatever the next Tyler Perry Medea movie is, if there's another Tyler Perry like Medea movie, don't be surprised if you see old white people, because apparently they love that kind of stuff, or either that they just have some white guilt. I don't know. I can just feel the downvotes right now. But yeah, there was a moment at the end of the movie where Spike Lee does his thing of hammering his message down your throat, just plunging it down there, and I thought it was just a little too much. But I mean, I think it probably needed to be put in, but sometimes he can come off a little heavy-handed. And if you can't tell, I kind of have like this love-hate thing for Spike Lee, but because sometimes, like I said, he does become a little heavy-handed, and I want to support him because what he has to say is very true and honest and blunt, but sometimes he's just a little heavy-handed with what he is trying to convey to his audience. Maybe that's just like a thing he does purposely. I don't know. But they do show some real life footage from the Charlottesville march to the incident that happened where there were people protesting and a car went through the crowd and killed a woman. Just all of these racist incidents that have occurred in America that happened in the past 2 to 3 years that just really like points out the parallels between the 70s and just now. It's just like nothing has really changed, and it really sucks. And when that moment like came on the screen and the movie ended and the lights turned on, the theater was completely silent. And I just looked around and I could just feel this very uncomfortable energy just radiating from all of these old white people. And I think I was like the only black person in the theater. And I just thought that like spoke volumes. And I think on TV, when, I don't remember who was promoting it on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. I don't know if it was Spike Lee or Washington. But it's one of them. They were promoting it for the movie to be coming out, and Trevor Noah even mentioned that the end was very powerful, and that a lot of the white people were very silent and looking around at all of the black people in the theater and feeling remorse and feeling guilty and just being very sympathetic about like, I am sorry this is still happening. We will try to be better. That kind of stuff. And I like that kind of happened, and that it's like clicking in people's minds who don't realize that like things haven't really changed too much, or that we're really just stepping backwards in time. But that's reality, and I don't want to rant about it too much because that's just not what I do on this channel. But I felt like the film was very good at doing what it was doing. It gave like a full story to Ron Stallworth. It gave like a full developed characters for the people he was following and infiltrating that was part of the Klan chapter. It gave us a little glimpse of what type of person David Duke was. I thought the editing was really good. One of my favorite parallel moments that was kind of hard to watch, which every now and then I do think it's a little bit drawn out, was a moment where when Adam Driver's character, Zimmerman, who is undercover as Ron Stallworth, because clearly he can't just show up as a black man to the Ku Klux Klan, so Adam Driver's character, Officer Zimmerman, plays him like in person while Stallworth would talk on the phone with whoever. So he's going through his initiation, and it is juxtaposed with the Colorado Springs like student union gathered with this older black man telling the story of Emmett Tillman and all these other incidents where white people paraded these black men and just dragged them on the ground and burned them and over fire and just turned them like a roasted pig and just displayed like their just desecrated bodies and stuff, and just felt proud about it and stuff. And it was just placed so perfectly with this ceremony of like holy water and hood, and just removing the hoods and pledging yourself to the KKK, and then ending it with the older black man saying, and that's why like Birth of a Nation is just a big staple in the KKK. And then they show them watching Birth of a Nation, and they're cheering, and they're just laughing at the little black children, like, oh, look, the little Pekingese, da, da, da. Oh, get them, they're like, the KKK are the heroes in the movie. And I just thought the parallels were just, it's just very well edited, and I really love that, and I hope people pay attention to that. I thought that was pretty cool. So my favorite scene in the movie, which is the reason why I really, like, it pushed me even further to want to read the book, was when Ron Stallworth is told to be David Duke's bodyguard as he visits Colorado Springs because there is, like, threats against him for visiting. And they come into this banquet area. This was after the whole initiation of his like undercover body, Zimmerman playing him. They go and like do a little meet and greet and stuff, and then there's these waiters talking. One of the waiters like leaning over, and they're like, "Man, if I knew if I was working," it's like, "Oh, this is some BS." Like, if I knew we were working for these jokers, like, this is just not cool. But later on, Mr. Stallworth, played by Washington, goes over to David Duke and his right-hand man, who I forgot what his name is. I don't know if it's Wilkins or something. He asked to take a picture with him, and he is sandwiched between the two men, and he's in the middle. And he counts one. He asks the guy who's like playing him in the group, who is Zimmerman, Adam Driver's character. He asks him to take a picture of him with David Duke and the other guy. I think his name is Wilkins. And so he counts 1, 2, 3, and he puts his arms around them like this, like go around their shoulders, and they freak out. And he rushes to get the Polaroid before David could, and he like threatens him like if you try to like grab this or do anything to me, I could charge you for assault of an officer. And it's just brilliant and hilarious, and I love it. So I was curious if this moment actually happened in the book, and spoiler for people who want to read the book, it did actually happen. Reading the book was a really fantastic, interesting journey, and a lot of the time I was thinking of what happened in the movie and how they took the elements from the book and put it in the movie. And a lot of the stuff that does happen in the movie is in the book. Of course, there's more detail into the investigation and stuff that he found out. He even gives some history about the KKK and other little possibly unknown facts about certain buildings and stuff that are in Colorado Springs. Things that were added and fictionalized, which was also mentioned by the writer when we did see them in Kansas, was there was no love interest. I think her name was Patrice. She does not exist in the book. It was something they made up to make it flow better in the movie, but he does go see this guy speak in is undercover to make sure that there's like no riots or anything of violence going on from, I guess, the Black Student Union of the area. So that does happen. But the female main character, the love interest for Ron Stallworth, does not exist. Also, the bomb situation that happens toward the end of the movie, that doesn't happen, but they do mention moments of them planning to, like, set off a bomb, getting C4, and doing all these other horrific violent acts and stuff. But yeah, there are a lot of moments that are in the movie that did actually happen in the book, and I think that's just something that people have to, like, check out for themselves. He did actually talk to David Duke. They do mention there's a scene in there where they talk about how white people and black people talk differently, especially with the word R. So David Duke was like, yeah, so, like, I know, like, with white people, they say R. But with black people, they say Ara. And that does happen in the book, and he does mention it, and he does break down the phonetics, or whatever you want to call it, the accents when it comes to saying certain words or consonants or whatever, but that's just more of a regional thing, which is something that Stallworth does point out in the book. One thing, even though I said that it was very heavy-handed at the end when they insert the footage from the Charlottesville protest and the car incident that happened in a protest, at the end of BlackKklansman, the book, the memoir, Ron Stallworth does mention that there are parallels to current day, and he does mention Trump and, like, how bigotry has now become, like, the hot thing. Like, people are not afraid to be racist now. Like, it's okay to not do that behind closed doors now. He does draw some parallels to present day from the 70s. He's not, of course, as heavy-handed but I think visuals are a lot louder than words, so in that instance. But I do find that interesting, and I'm kind of glad that, like, those things are included, and it makes me, like, not be as upset that it was included in the movie. Also, Alec Baldwin's speech at the beginning and the extra, the small footage from Gone with the Wind is mentioned in it as well. I think Gone with the Wind is mentioned in the book too, but yeah, there are snippets of that at the beginning of the movie, and I thought that was pretty cool. Especially if you have seen Gone with the Wind, you know where that lies in black culture, at least. Is it necessary to read the book? No. But it does add some extra context and, like, insight of his whole investigation and how it has changed how we perceive the KKK fully, because he was inside. He infiltrated. He got a lot of information. I also got to watch the bonus feature that was in there with the actual Ron Stallworth and, like, and him talking about the movie and a little bit of behind the scene footage stuff, but it's not a huge extra or anything. But I thought it was really interesting to watch how they put everything together. Overall, obviously, I definitely recommend BlackKklansman. It's a really good movie, especially in our current climate. I thought Spike Lee did a fantastic job. I still will probably continue to have a love-hate relationship with the guy, but he did a really good job. And the book, BlackKklansman by Ron Stallworth, was a very interesting read. It's a very short book. It's under 300 pages. I think it's 200-something pages. So it is a very interesting read, and it does have pictures in there. Unfortunately, he does not have the picture of him with David Duke and that other guy because he did explain that it got damaged or something like that, which is unfortunate because I would have loved to see that picture, but that did happen and that makes me very happy. But definitely check it out, either or, book or movie. Like I said, book's not necessary to watch, like, to understand the movie. Like, the movie does a very good job encompassing what the book wanted to do. Like, it takes all of the important chunks out and adds, of course, a little extra theatrical flair because you kind of need extra fictional stuff to move along things in a movie, like having a romantic interest. But she doesn't distract or detract from the overall content of the film, so that's always a good thing. So as for the movie, I do give it about a 4 out of 5, and the book about the same, I guess. I don't remember what I rated it on Goodreads, but I'm sure you can totally find it. I'll leave a link to my Goodreads account below. Both are great. Definitely check them out. Give it a read. It was great. It was a fun time. And now I'm reading a not-so-fun-time book in its place. So, yay. But anyway, that's the end of my Unwrapped review / comparison review. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry it's a bit lengthy. I promise that these won't be that long, but I just had a lot to say because it is very politically timely, sadly. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to hear me ramble more for some odd reason, I don't know, hit the subscribe button below. I do post videos either on Wednesdays and Friday, or Thursdays, I don't know what I'm talking about, Wednesdays or Thursdays. Also, if you want early access to my videos and other little extra things that I do, you can join Patreon like these lovely people below. I'll see you guys next time.